I thought that it might be helpful to provide a few tips to any of you who are thinking of a career as an employment solicitor in private practice, and to share some of my experiences. To start with, here's some background about my career. So I did my law degree at University of the West of England, Bristol, and I also did my LPC there too. I really enjoyed the course, found it really interesting and hard work too. I spent a lot of time in the university bar as well, so I tried to balance studying with also having a good time socially, and I made a lot of friends which I've kept in touch with right up till now. So it was a success, the studying, and in the end I got a 2-1 in my degree, and I also passed the LPC, which I was pleased with. Despite doing well on the courses, it was incredibly difficult to secure a training contract. I sent countless applications to law firms, and it was incredibly demoralising getting the rejections back. I got so many rejections that in the end I found it very difficult to keep going and to keep sending out those applications. In the end, I was lucky enough to secure a training contract at a firm in Mitcham in Surrey, and it was a great opportunity. What I'd say to students out there who are finding it difficult to get a training contract is keep persevering, don't give up, be prepared that if necessary you may have to take a slightly different route, but in the end you will end up doing what you want to do, so don't give up. At the firm in Mitcham, I had plenty of experience handling lots of my own cases at an early stage. There were no formal seats, but I did cover employment law, housing law, criminal law, family law, and contract law. So the work was very varied. I particularly liked employment law and found the inquiries really varied, and remember helping out at a free employment law clinic every Thursday too. The learning curve was really sharp and it was quite daunting, but also rewarding at the same time. On qualifying, I went to another high street firm in Clapham, South London, and advised on housing law and employment law. After that, I was lucky enough to be offered a position at a central London employment law firm. I think that it helped a huge amount that I had my own caseload that I was running, and this was a big plus point when I was interviewed at that firm. I had a lot of experience over the next few years in employment law at the firm in central London. I then actually took a career break and travelled around South America on my own for a year. It was one of the best things that I ever did. It was incredible. I think that it was the right thing to do at the time. And obviously everyone is in a different place at a different time. But for me, going off travelling was incredible. I thought a lot about the law and whether I wanted to continue, and I decided that I did want to continue in the legal profession, but realised that law was not everything and that a balance was much more healthy. I then came back really with a renewed sense of purpose. It was really difficult coming back to London, and it took a long time to find a permanent position. I did find a temporary role at the Treasury Solicitors, which suited me while I looked for a permanent role in private practice. At the end of the year, I was lucky enough to be offered a role at a City London firm, which was a great opportunity, and actually then spent the next 6 years at the City firm. After being employed at the City London firm, I worked as a consultant for a number of years at a London law firm close to Chancery Lane, before recently setting up my own specialist employment law firm. So what are law firms looking for when taking on employment solicitors? Along the way, I've been able to get a bit of a feel of what employment law firms are looking for when recruiting, which may help you with your career path. The first thing that I believe employment law firms look for is a sound technical knowledge of employment law. Whether you're acting for employers or employees or both, It's essential to have a solid knowledge and to keep up to date with the changes in employment law. Employment law is constantly changing, and it's really important to keep up to date with new cases and new legislation. The second thing that I think that employment law firms look for is having a good rapport with clients. Employment law is people-focused. It's all about being personable and empathizing. Again, whether you're acting for employers or employees, you're going to be dealing with people and problems. You need to be understanding and approachable. It's also good to have outside interests for a rounded outlook. And the third thing is developing an ability to sell. I guess if you have a good rapport with clients, you're on your way. But it's more than that. It's being able to find leads and convert those leads into clients. I think that you do need to have some business flair. Junior solicitors will probably not be expected to bring in their own work, but law firms will be looking to see whether you have marketing skills and business acumen. Selling, of course, comes in different forms and there are various approaches, but the bottom line is that you will have to sell. You won't always be able to rely on people giving you work, and sometimes you'll have to find work for yourself. I hope all these tips have been helpful. I love employment law because there are always news stories with employment law angles, making employment law relevant and topical, and it's quite addictive in that sense. If you have any queries or questions on anything that I've said, do leave a comment or get in touch. For more information on employment law, do visit my website, and please subscribe to my channel for updates.